coordination, 12 link of the interdependent coordination is the samsara, how it continues. And this interdependent coordination, 12 interdependent coordination, I told yesterday to you, can be summarized, can understand it within the context of the first two noble truth, suffering noble truth and cause of suffering truth. And that is samsara. This is also a elaborate way the gracious teacher Buddha explained as 12 interdependent coordinate links. I would like to reverse that. I would like to stop that chain continuation spiral. Then we have to follow the path. And that is known as path truth. Path truth. The path truth will bring the cessation truth, which is also known as enlightenment status in Mahayana. Absolute enlightenment status. That will bring by following the path. In the path, again, then can be, as the gracious teacher Buddha said, "O monks, there is at noble path to reverse the cause of suffering and the suffering truth. There is at noble paths that you should follow." So this at noble path is explaining here. According to, again, this at noble path is 7 instrumentals of the enlightenment. Is not something that you only we practice it on the first bhumi and the rest of the paths. But it is started day one with practices. When you reach when you reach to the second bhumi on the meditation path, when you begin the meditation path, in the teaching said that time the at noble path become so beautiful, so strong, so perfect. That time it becomes the perfect. And before that, if we want to be perfect, because of due to the dualities and as well as obscurations and our habit patterns, we are kind of almost jiggly. But still, if we put that joyful effort, courage and commitment, all the tools that the Buddha taught and the great master lay out, if we put that, it will make us always joyful, always happy, peaceful. It's not something struggling, but it is part of joy, part of peace, part of excitement and adventures. It is a fun, it is a beautiful, it is a move forward. But however, again, when we reach to what this call it, with this beautiful motivation, with that call it, if we move forward continually, and then we reach first bhumi. First bhumi time, as I said in great masters, Nagarjuna and everyone said, that time, the 7 instrumental of the book, of the enlightenment will become so strong, so perfect. That means perfect. That time will become. And now we have that perfect of the 7 instrumentals. So beautifully, and then we continually apply, and then reach to the second bhumis. When the second bhumi we reach, and that time now began to shine the at noble path so beautifully, so perfectly. That time it is already started. Day one we practice it, but this time become seen as perfections. So that's the general overview of this practice of the at noble path. And now we go to the at noble path itself, as the great master said, and as the Mahaprabhu's teachings. Great master Nagarjuna said, as well as the great master Mahaprabhu says. So first is, again, this at noble path, it's already in the text, but however, again, I will talk this. So first is, according here, what is listed, according here, the great master Nagarjuna listed, perfect post is perfect view. Second, again, this perfect we're going to apply to everyone. So perfect view. Second is perfect livelihood. Third is, or again, if we put that more like in that way, I will go like this now. Perfect view, perfect livelihood, perfect effort, perfect mindfulness, and perfect concentrations, perfect action, and perfect understanding. These acts are known as the perfects of the path of noble ones. Noble ones. You can add this path of noble ones to everyone. For example, perfect will is the path of noble ones. Perfect livelihood is path of the noble ones. Perfect effort, joyful effort is path of the noble ones. And so on. Add that. And that's known as the add perfect noble paths. And now with this, first is will, the perfect will. Will is, as great Khenpo Rinpoche said many times, and I said, and you know now, I think, perfect will is so important for us or for practitioners. Will is that what are we going to capture? Will is that what we're going to realize it. When we talk about the realization, it's talking about the will. That is what it is. Realization, when we talk about the realization, is a will. So therefore, will is so important. Will is like eye, looking to our directions, looking to the behind, looking to the around, so that we will be continually stay in the clear, brilliant light. This is not darkness kind of carried away and become the obstacles. If we have the perfect will, it will be moved brightly, brilliant, as great Master Nagarjuna said in this teaching. We will move from light to light. It is the moving of the light. Now, what is will? Will can be, it's so beautiful things, so many things, beautiful things. But if we summarize all wills, it can be will in truth. This is known as the will of the vast understanding, or the will of the understanding of the vastness of the relative truth, will of the understanding of the profound of the absolute truth. This can be summarized all. So that means these two wills. And this time, what is for our practitioner to understand of the will? It is the teaching, the practice that you're doing. That have to be understood. Bring that will clearly as it is. It is like this simple way to tell the path. We have to know the path. We have to know the bhumis. And what are path? What are bhumis? Then all the teachings, what we went through, is all is relative truth. Mostly is relative truths. But they're so important to understanding, because it will make us so pure, so simple, so beautiful, so perfect. Without that, we won't really develop and discover our beautiful nature. Habit pattern is continuing. The grasping is continuing. Even we have the perfect, beautiful view of the understanding of the relative truth, the teaching of the Buddha, still there is so many these hyenas, as I said, these 6 or 5 those obscurations that who will rob our virtues, that great master said. There is, therefore, vigilantly, joyfully keeping the will. That is the detailed ways to understanding. First will is relative truth, to understand beautifully. And then along with that contrast in external, such as know that what is 10 virtues, what is unvirtuous. Understand all those things beautifully, exactly as it is, known as the vastness of knowledge of the relative truths. Once you have that understanding, and then explore the view of the absolute truths, as we all learned from the Dzogchen teachings, or Mahamadra teachings, Madhyamaka teachings. That is the view. That is view. Understand exactly that realization. Bring up that. Again, applying with the relative truth instructions, all that shouldn't forget. Instructions are needed. Needed because we are struggling. We are heavily burdened and sorrowed by the habit patterns. Habit pattern is not just a beginning, these lifetimes, but in the beginner's time, we carry the habit patterns, one after another. And this time, this lifetime, we added so many things also, plus so many habit patterns, our own habit pattern, traditional habit pattern, believing in different things, this and that habit pattern is really overloaded. And therefore, to keep up that, all the instructions perfectly, and release and liberate that, bring up the sunlight, the brilliant sky view of the absolute truth in our heart and mind, merge that realization as it merges, as it appears externally, and as your nature is that. As Dzogchen teaching said, exactly as it is. That is the view. Now view is firmed. When you have the perfect, solid, beautiful, unshakable view, the practice moves so beautiful. Practice moves so nice. We're not going to jiggling here, hesitating, and doubt and hesitating and trembling all the time, and kind of shaken by the so many discursive thoughts, this and that, that might be, this is, then I'm all kind of disturbing. This is what we have to have, the beautiful views. Once we have that beautiful view, and then what will be conduct level, what we're going to do. And then in the teaching said, perfect livelihoods. Perfect livelihood is then, as in the teaching said, and you hear it said, in the food level, there's a variety of things we can understand, all the different things. But in the food level, we take the food as medicines. And we should not also have food that is kind of involved in negativities. And many of you are vegetarians, which is wonderful. Really beautiful. Vegetarian is beautiful. That we can. And livelihood, that's not harming to anyone. Anyone is something that clean, pure, and then also used with us medicines and exactly that. Or you have kind of more large ways in what Buddha taught. Buddha taught. Not too extreme, not too luxurious. And kind of simple, beautiful, but joy and peace and happiness. And rewarding to ourselves that. Always rewarding us joy, peace, happy, satisfaction. And we have that. We are staying beautiful lives. That is beautiful life. Lives. Peaceful life. Happy lives. That is what it is. So that is briefly about the view. Oh, sorry. Briefly about the livelihoods. And the next one is the effort. Effort is then same thing as in the 6 paramatas. What is joyful effort? Joyful effort is vital and essential to fulfill our goals. Goal of the practice, goal of realizations, get goals, and not let disturbed by laziness. Laziness is the opposite. Laziness is distractions. Laziness pull downs. Laziness can come many different ways. Sometimes very naive ways. Sometimes can come very kind of appealing ways. Sometimes can come instrumentally, kind of instructing something like that. Looks like kind of. And it's all different ways come. It's a display of the conception, discursive thoughts. Bring up the joyful effort. Keep the will strongly to the close to your heart, and carry on, move on. That is. And then we mentioned many times, and you know already, joyful effort already. And to keep the instructions perfectly beautiful as Buddha taught in this teaching said many times, what is the mindfulness? Mindfulness is so important. Mindfulness is intelligence. Mindfulness is thoughtful. Mindful brain, the alertness. So, in remembering instructions, remember the views. Not let that dulled by the foggy thought, and as well as habit patterns, and discursive busyness, stressful, anxiety, kind of carried away that, and they dimmed our mindfulness, and we lost the identity of our practitioner, of our practices. If that happened, then obstacle, that's called obstacle. It's nothing than this. That is obstacles. Obstacles can come many different ways, preventing that. So therefore, again, keep up the mindfulness. Next one is concentrations. That means, again, we went quite a few times in this teaching already, and you know, meditating, samadhi. All this meditation, there is 2 things. Is vipassana and shamatha. What are you going to meditate? You're going to meditate the view that you learned, particularly absolute truth. The absolute truth, the view, Dzogchen view, Mahamudra view, the Madhyamaka view. That is you're going to keep. Who is going to keep this view? our mind. We is not object. We is our mind. Discovering that knowledge, that wisdom, that infinite, that openness of our own nature as it is. That is known as the will, and that maintained by then the samadhi, or maintained by the shamatha, maintained by the vipassana, or in the Dzogchen teaching always, the great master said, and Rinpoche in his own Dzogchen, the Dzogchen teaching is union of the vipassana and shamatha meditation, inseparably. So keep that. How are we going to keep that? With joy for effort, with mindfulness. Mindfulness. All those beautiful ingredients blend in. It's not just that they are in different locations and different tools that bring all in one package, one status. Use that up. That's how we glorify, we make beautify our life and our spiritual practices. That. And then, next one is activities. Perfect activities. Activity is then, again in this teaching, said many times, activity that which do the perfect activities, that do the perfect activities of the 10 virtues. If we simplify 10 virtues, is perfect activities. If we do un-10 virtues, or the non-10 virtues, that is not perfect activities. So therefore, again, the gracious teacher Buddha and the great master Nagarjuna, everyone highlighted that, made so beautiful manual, beautiful road signs, what is, so we don't have to stay in the dark of this mind or that what could be this. Really so clearly created 10 virtues is then, we listed in this. 10 un-virtues also listed that. We went through those in this teaching, and you know that. That activity, if we do this is the activity on 10 virtues, is then bad activities, not perfect activities. And doing the 10 activities, beautiful activities, and then if we can say 6 paramata practices. Among that first 3, such as generosity, morality, patience, those are the virtues. Those are the beautiful activities that we can do by our physical, our verbally, and our mind. That as subject and object levels is not absolute truth. It is something that we can deal in the mundane world. That is the perfect activities. And then next one is perfect understanding. When you have the perfect understanding of views, perfect understanding of all of these things, then also you bring that as a verbal communication levels to yourself, remind it to yourself. In a way, speaking to yourself what is what. Speaking them. And also those who are interested, who like to know those, verbally communicating, making it to kind of bring up that understanding. That is known as perfect understanding. Perfect understanding. As you understand, you're sharing that. As you understand it, you deepen that practices. That is known as perfect understanding. This noble path are the path that we like to make the nobles, nobilities. This is the path. This is the instrumentals that will make noble. Whoever they are, whether they are man or woman or animals, anyone, they are become nobility ones. That is therefore it is called nobles. And this again is, can summarize this again. This noble path can summarize within the 3 extraordinary attaining practices. First is, for example, will, and as well as perfect understanding is wisdom practices. And then livelihood, effort, and perfect activities. Activities are moralities, ethics. And then concentration is concentrations or samadhis. And then joyful effort is supported to all of them. All of those things. So this is again very beautiful essentialized instructions of the three extraordinary teaching. And that Buddha teaching actually is not dividing, it's deviating teachings. All brings together, make meaningful, perfectly suits to discover the truth. Nature as what is truth? Truth is nature. It's not something else that is sitting truth behind the scene. Truth is nature, is truth, exactly as it is. In the relative level, absolute level, and the relative absolute level is not two separate groups. East and West. It's the same. Discover it is exactly nature where things are. And that is known as the practice. That is known as the truth or nature. And here said, and here Great Master Nagarjuna said, if you want to be contemplate great peaceful status, then you must meditate, practicing on this. Practice on this. Practice on this. Practice on this, and that will bring the realization of the peace, the nirvana, or the enlightenment status. And the next one.